Well, thank you very much, Ethel and Gisle, for proposing us being here and let us talk about us and our activity in Barcelona. It's nice to be the third, more or less. It's nice to be the third speaking because I think you said many things that I can just stand on them. I mean, you talk about many things, about ideology, about situation. So maybe for me it's better to talk about something more specific, about who we are, how we began our activity, and a specific case of our activism, maybe because I think it's the big characteristic of L'École. This is a picture that we usually show when we talk, because we are 21 architects in a collective, trying to be a cooperative, trying to be a company, and people always say, so, but you are 21 people exactly the same, and we say no. It's kind of, well, L'École means cabbage, is just the meaning, and we are as different cabbages are around. So there's architects in the collective that really doesn't want to build anything. They just want to have an intellectual production or a visual production or whatever. So we are really not multidisciplinary, but kind of. I'd like to begin talking about us, really, because the title is Spanish Crisis and the New Role. So I think, and the new role of the architect. So I think maybe it could be interesting knowing a bit of how a collective can be, because I think through ARK also began as students. We began students, and Raons, I don't know if you are going to talk about you, but you began with how is the name in English? The architecture? No, the Sin Fronteras. Yeah. Well, so we began as students 4 years ago in September of 2009. And we decided to look for a place, the 21 of us, where to do all this, not alone at home, with lots of coffee and listening to music as legionnaires. So we tried to modify our working place as students. This was the place. This is in the district where we are now. We decided to come here because it was a cheap district. With urban fabric, quite social, quite easy, lots of life in the street, and we didn't have any big political mind like now, and we weren't any activists in that time. After years go by, we did a bit of restoration of the place. We did it with our hands. Something that we are trying to reclaim, the handmade things, not the industrial things only. So you can see how it was before, which is a bit more chaos than now, not that big difference, but we are trying to invest our little money and our hours, our time, to modify our working place, and it's something that we try to develop in the activism, in the same way that the people is able to really develop and change and modify the living places. Well, some pictures just to know where we go every day, Monday to Sunday. There's non-stop walking because it's difficult to have a routine, being 21, having work outside the collective. Someone is working the whole day inside. We try to generate money. It's a big complicated situation if you know our economical situation as a country, which is quite sad. One thing that we began quickly to do when we came to the district, even when we had the place without any changes, was to use the street. We really reclaimed the street. I don't know how is it here, but in Spain, all these activities are able to be punished with a fine. Okay, even so, Barcelona is a city which is absolutely regulated and has laws for everything. And since the very beginning, we tried to use the street for eating, playing, walking, and even you can see the, I don't know how to say it, but to talk about our designs and our projects when we were students. The beginning of the activism of L'École started with the final projects of our degrees, which we decided to do it in the district and with the big relations with old and, as possible, abandoned industrial facilities. So, well, I was going to talk about how we are trying to be a company and all that, but I think it's too much. Maybe this is funny to see because each flower represents a different cabbage, which are each one of us are a cabbage, and each axe means like an architectural discipline, handmade things, design, writing, audiovisual, okay? And each color represents a different cabbage. So finally we got this, which is another conceptual cabbage. You know, it was funny to us to discover that even being 21 architects, friends in the university of the same year, doing the same projects, we were more or less different people with different affinities, and well, we have a little thing that proves this. No? This is the whole collective. We are all this. We seem like a rap band, but we are architects. The final projects were related with industrial fabrics, with industrial facilities abandoned, which were abandoned. And one of the rules was that they had to be in the district. L'École is this little point there, and that is Can Batlló, which is one of the thing I'm going to describe now. And you have like 10 minutes walking to reach one place to the other. I'm not following at all my plan, so I'm sorry, but I have this not doing. It all began in June of 2010, the activism, not L'École, and it all began because we began to develop our final project in this industrial place, which is called Can Batlló. We arrived there without knowing anything about the place. We didn't know there were a big neighbor platforms that were reclaiming for more than 35 years the equipments, the public equipments that were spread by the administration to the district. So we began to do the typical things that we do. We just check the old plans and talk to the people, go to the district and know more or less how it was going on, and then we discovered a whole universe of big district, worker district, very angry because the administration promised 35 years ago 21 public equipments in 9 hectares of industrial facilities, and none of them were done. So we decided to use that energy, use that reclaim in our final projects, and we still now working for this cause with these people, hand to hand, as one neighbor else. Can Batlló, as I said, is 9 hectares of industrial facilities. It is in the middle of a little suburb which is called La Bordeta, and La Bordeta is 4 times this surface. So you can imagine a big gap, abandoned gap of streets, of buildings, well constructed because it has steam machines and that they were heavy. So you just see the big potential it has when you are there. And we were microphone. Sorry. And when you are there, you really feel ashamed, no? That your city council just ignore that people and wants to promote the housing that we saw before with El Pocero. Okay. The first thing we did was to really find out what does the industrial fabric meant to a city like Barcelona. We are all used to know that the cities, many of them began with little villages and then came churches and markets and that, and the city is grown, then there are the walls and all that. But this area around the Middle Age or the Roman city in Barcelona, which is the one you can see with the walls, it's plenty of industrial places. These industrial places, attract the living. So they are acting as the original village. So we have to understand, we have to know that we are talking about 2,000 years of history, and the last 200 are attached directly to the industrial production and the workers and the migration from the rural field to the cities. So having all that by one side, and well, you can see Can Batlló at the beginning of 20th century. There's no housing nearby. You can see only fields. This is more or less a part of Can Batlló, which is for us is very nice because it's like the paradigm of flexible building. I mean, if all like Le Corbusier, no, with little columns, and then you can just play with the places. Just to make some context. This is 70s. You can see high density building all around. It's one of the most populated districts in Barcelona, and as I said before, there are no equipments in there. And it's also the year that the master plan of the whole city is written down. Okay, this master plan, this is the whole facility. This is Can Batlló and this is La Magoria, which is attached to the same plan, but we are only focusing here. Okay, 9 hectares. The whole thing, I think there are 14 hectares or something like that. For those that you have visited Barcelona, one the name of the block. Yeah, one of the blocks of the Eixample is 1 hectare. So we have 9 here and 14 in the whole thing. In the 75, a urban plan approves that more than half of the facilities are going to be demolished, and many towers of luxury buildings are going to be approved, and they are going to change really the real social fabric of the district. Okay, we are talking about a workers' place. This place, this area here, when it was high producing, had like 3,000 people working inside, and it became an industrial place inside the city. We are used to see the industry outside the cities, so it has, for us, it has a big value, because today we are thinking about sustainability and this kind of words and concepts that not everyone understands, but there's people who say that going to work walking is maybe the best way to being sustainable. So this is industry inside the city, that the city hall and the private, this is all private, I forgot to say. This is not public place, not today. And the private people just want to convert in money, and 5 hectares green place that everybody in Spain would know that is not going to work, because we need something to join the city, to make it mix, not to separate in big places. These are some images of the property with the proposal. You can see the big buildings, the little facilities that are not touched by anyone. They wanted to put some museums and stuff like this, not real equipments to the district that were promised in 75. And also you can see the 5 hectares of green place, which is, I don't know, I prefer the football field, sincerely. I mean, it's just, who is going to cross that? You have a big wall of high buildings just having their conceptually their own green place, and the rest of the city is outside. They are just putting like, I don't know, it's like a big wall. These are the towers that are planned, okay? This is from the property. We just take it from the website. We didn't touch anything. And finally, say that Can Batlló is right in the middle, is this red target in the middle of the plan. It's just in the middle of the 2 rivers. Barcelona is configured by 2 rivers, 1 little mountain and then the sea. So it's absolutely how to say? Well, you understand if I do this, okay? And Cambodia is right in the middle and is touching the only street that crosses really east to west the whole city, which is Gran Via. So that is a big reason that made us, as architects, as city agents, realize that we were talking about a metropolitan equipment, not only a district equipment. We know the importance of having, I don't know, schools or libraries. We are working for that. I'm going to explain that in a second part of this. But we needed to show to the neighbors, to the administration, to the people, that Cambodia was also a metropolitan affair, not only a little thing of little demands, even if it's 35 years. So in order to convince and in order to make some noise for the neighbors, for everybody, for the media, we began to, as architects, as very young architects, this is like 3 years ago, I'm 27 now, I was 24 then, we were making contacts with intellectuals, with very respected people in Barcelona, real agents of the urban scenario in Barcelona, and we made some debates with the neighbors in an assembly way, as you can see here, to make them understand that they had to fight for their needs and for the city needs. We needed to demonstrate that it was something bigger. And more or less it's working, but neighbors' mind, it's more closed than we thought at the beginning, but we do not surrender. The second scale, this was the big scale, the scale of the city thing. The second scale that we are trying to develop in Cambodia is the human scale, is the district scale. We try to give solutions to the needs of the neighbors. As Manu said before, working with the neighbors, being bridge between neighbors and administrations, gives you another list of arguments to work, another way of thinking the things. Cheap, handmade, able to everyone. We have kids of 8 years old painting walls and people of 80 years old painting the same wall. So it had to be open for everyone. We could get this place. At the beginning, all the neighbors, even us as a collective, we were disposed to go in illegally because all of us were absolutely fed up of the ignorance that the administration was applying to us. So we began to be a threat because we began to convince the media, we began to move the press, we did the debates with that people that really affected all the city. The city began to talk about this, and the city hall and 4 minutes.
5 minutes.
5 minutes? Oh, enough. And we could convince them because they were afraid of us, also the property, so they gave us the key of one block, and this is what happened. People were just euphoric going inside of the place. We had the key of one of the blocks here in your right side. It's a legal cession. The city hall gave us the key legally. We have a contract with no time. We just began with one building. Nowadays we have like 5 buildings occupied by neighbors, self-managed, self-organized, self-financed by the neighbors. City hall knows we are there. They try us not to get harmed, so they more or less clean the things and put the windows where they have to be, and then they left the neighbors do what they want to do really inside. So our job began building, designing things for them just to make it easier. Also, we needed to make them understand that architects are not only workers that are going to multiply per 5 the budget of the things, okay? We are not going to destroy the cities, we can do really things for them. And it's a fight that we have personally with them because it's difficult. They many times ask, why do we need an architect? It's something that it really affects us. So we try really to make them understand, and we build anything just to make them see the effect of the architect. This was Cambodia at the beginning. We began with a library. We asked for books. this is the situation that we found it. And after many hours, I think we have dedicated more than 10,000 hours here as a collective, with maybe 10 people actively working in here. We designed plans of uses, of programs. We decided how had to be always with concepts with them, always with the assembly. Something very hard to us is just to design things with a neighbor here, because why red? But you really understand what you're doing. We think they understand what we are doing, so more or less it's kind of a beginning of a relationship. After all, we could win a grant of our, well, a local grant, of participation grant, and this was a design that this grant is going to pay with a big hole in the floor, and it's going to communicate places. We are trying to make more friendly the place. This is architecture in itself, so I think it's not that important, but this is also our work inside there. This is for free nowadays, and as I said at the beginning, we are trying to become a company, so we are trying to bit by bit understand what is going, what it has to be for free and what it has to be minimum paid. This is the library now. 5,000 books inside. They said we don't want more books, and we don't want encyclopedia. So it's plenty of people who is giving dictionaries and all that. So they don't want that. And well, I wanted to show. These are the last pictures. I'm finishing. I wanted to show the place how it changed. You have to imagine here people build cars, or I think here there was a latex company. So they produce latex here, and now this is the kids' corner in the library. We can design a little bit with materials we find in there. Can Batlló has become the quarry where to find the material to design and produce things. So we really find out the prime material inside. And this is the bar, the canteen, which is the heart of the place, designed with ceiling of the fabric, which is all this wood here. And more or less our activity now is condensed in all this.